Welcome everyone to the Dazn Boxing Show with myself, Adi Oladipo, as always, joined by former WBC Cruiserweight champ, Tony Belly. We had a packed show for you guys today, but unfortunately, we just had some really bad breaking news. Michael Mickenson's date with Destiny, that fight with Virgil Ortiz, is now off. Virgil Ortiz had to withdraw because of injury. Look, it's disappointing news. We have just spoken to Michael Mickenson just a few minutes ago, and look, very, very confident, very assured. Really thought he was going to cause one of the biggest upsets we've ever seen from a UK fighter going to America, but that now needs to be put on hold. It means as well, the interview we've just done with him has no relevance. So we're going to put that one to the side as well until we know exactly what's going on with the fight and maybe whether or not Michael Mickenson will get another chance against Virgil Ortiz. We still do, though, have a packed show for you. We are going to hear from Fight Disciples who once again talk about British judging. And myself and Tony will break down what was an absolutely fantastic fight card in Nottingham. It's time for opening bell. Tony, look, no other place to start apart from the main event at the Motorpoint Arena. You know, as a boxing fan, for me as well, look, I've never, taken up the sport. But as a boxing fan, you pray for nights like that, where fighters, talk the talk and it sells out, but then they deliver. They put everything on the line. They dig deeper than they ever thought they could and give us as fans something special. So that's something that I probably think will be in my memory bank for years to come, maybe forever. It was that special. You know, when Michael Conlan came out, he came out and the Irish went crazy. And what I loved as well was that it was segregated. So you had the Irish on one side and they went crazy. And I remember being ringside thinking, oh no, Leigh Wood's going to get booed coming in to his hometown. This isn't great. And then in unison, the Forest fans stood up and I was like, this could be as good as it gets. Like, that's it. Stop me. This is it. Nothing's going to beat this. And when Leigh Wood got put down, look, I don't have a dog in the fight. So, I wasn't supporting either one. I was supporting both. But when Leigh Wood got put down, I was thinking, please get up. Like, this is a special night so far. Please get up. How Leigh Wood stayed on for 4 rounds after that knockdown is beyond me. I don't know what he's made of. I don't know the kind of courage he had. But I was there with you ringside. And even, we were talking to him and you were like, it's done. It's over, it's done. How Leigh Wood continued 2, 3, and 4, his legs were still gone. Incredible.
What you first touch on there, Addy, is when you say these guys delivered. Just let me state something and state it now. They went above and beyond the Call of Duty here. Yeah. Above and beyond, way above it. When guys go down like Leigh Wood went down in that first round, that's not a flash knockdown. That's not, something that's a balance issue or, you've just been caught. That's a full-blown knockout shot that hits him clean on the button and his legs completely betray him. He's flat on his back, his head hits the canvas. He finds a way, and I've touched upon this on my social media, it's what true champions do, I'm not going to lie. He was unbelievable, it really was. I thought he was gone. Yeah. And it wasn't just the headshot, because in the 12-round fight that it was, I think I've counted 6 or 7 times in that fight he's really wobbled and hit. And if I counted the amount of times the body shots kept stunting his progress and stopping him, I'd be into way into double figures. Easily. The amount of times he's hit or wobbled or rocked, it's unbelievable. What we witnessed on Saturday night was something that will live with me forever. It will live with everyone in that live audience. Will always draw back to, I was at Leigh Wood, Michael Conlan fight. I was there. Yeah. A lot of people will go, we're watching. Did you see that fight? I seen it. It was amazing. But for them special few within that stadium, it'll live with them forever. I think it really will.
Where does that come from? Like you're saying, he got hit with everything. I mean, Michael Conlan hit him with. He found a home for that left hand from round 1 to round 12. Even in round 12, he got hit with that left hand. He got hit to the body. Where does Leigh Wood find that extra bit? It's not even a second win. It's a third and a fourth and a fifth win. Where does he find that in that round 12? Is it the knockdown in round 11 that gave him a bit of like, okay, there's confidence there, or I can hurt him, he can be hurt? Where's it from?
The conclusion I make of the fight and watching it back is quite simple. It's Leigh Wood had the confidence punched out of him from round 1 all the way through, and he's lost confidence. He's lost belief in what he's doing, because he's getting caught at every single time he makes a mistake. Every sidestep he does, every feint he does, he's being hit with hard, stiff jabs. He's taking body shot after body shot. He's trying to draw a fake from Michael Conlon, and nothing's working, Addy.
Yeah.
And he's lost all confidence. By the time round 11 comes around, he half looks like, I don't want to say giving in because he's not, but he's not feeling sorry for himself because at no point did he, but he just looks shell shocked in round 11. And then this is the point that I make. This is where a bit of craziness happens, and it just works for Leigh Wood. That wasn't a knockdown. I don't care, and I know some people have got an opinion on it, and they'll say, well, a punch landed. Let me just be blunt in saying this. That weren't a knockdown in any way, shape or form. His foot clearly slips on the advertising. Yes, he gets hit with a shot, but he's already slipped.
Yeah.
He gets hit as the foot's come off and he's falling down. Just watch the replay back. So it's never a knockdown, but for unbeknown reasons, that gives Leigh Wood all the confidence in the world back in one go. It's like an injection of confidence was put into his backside, and it goes, son, he's gone. Yeah. Now, he goes in round 11, and I'm pretty sure we couldn't hear. We're right there at ringside, so I would assume Ben Davidson says to him, you need a knockout, son.
He did.
You've got to go for it. Did he? Well, that's brilliant corner advice from Ben Davidson. It really is, because that's the truth. That's what he needed. He needed a knockout, because the only reason I had it scored close, Addy, was because I had to give a 10-8 round to Leigh Wood. Michael Conlon was actually winning the round for me.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't get scored as a knockdown, Michael Conlon wins the round 10-9 quite clearly, and that sends a big point swing Michael Conlon's way. But we're back to reality. The referee calls a knockdown. It's a 10-8 round, and it makes it now closer. I still think Michael Conlon's winning the fight, but it makes it closer. He comes out in round 12 with all that belief that I can now hurt him, because he believes he's knocked him down.
Yeah.
Leigh Wood believes he knocked Michael Conlon down, and you see what confidence can do to a fighter. This is why I say it's as much mental as it is physical, this business and game that we're in. And what he does is just phenomenal. It's the most brutal finish I've ever seen to a fight of that magnitude live. I've never seen a finish like that, Addy.
It was crazy, incredible, and it was a weird one for us as fight fans, for the people working, for the fighters themselves. Obviously, Leigh Wood, you can't celebrate. You feel like you want to, and you got that burst of energy. Then obviously you're getting scared because you see Michael Conlon go through the ropes. You're seeing the emergency services come over. But quickly touch on Michael Conlon, because look, it takes two to tango, and I thought Michael Conlon from rounds 1 to 9 was everything you've spoken about in the last couple of weeks, Tone. He was outstanding. Like, I actually thought for a period in that fight, there's just levels between the two, and that's no disrespect to Leigh Wood, but I thought Michael Conlon looked special. He'll be world champion again. I mean, he will be a world champion. He's incredible.
His game plan worked to a T. Yeah. He drew the leads. He hit him at free will. This is going to hurt Michael Conlon more than any other fight in his whole career, because it's in his hands. And that's the most frustrating part. And I know what that lad's going through now, because it's all well and good when you lose and someone's just caught you with a shot, or but this happened because Michael Conlon got greedy and he went too far. He fell in love with his power from round 1. He was catching Leigh Wood at will with everything. And you can't knock a fighter who's doing that, because it's so easy. But he switched off with the most dangerous fighter in the division. And he got involved in a fight that he didn't need to get involved in. And that's been the difference here. This will make Michael Conlon a better fighter. It will make Leigh Wood a better fighter also, because he will never let a fight get out of his hands like that again. He will always press. Even if it means he gets knocked out mid-fight, he will press a lot better. He will be more educated with his pressure. But for Michael Conlon, believe you me, you will see a much more careful and astute fighter when he's winning fights going forward. Trust me, you really, really will.
Look, Leigh Wood has what every boxer wants, right? Options. He's got more options than probably anyone in the division now. What's the bigger fight next at the City Ground? Is it a Michael Conlon rematch, or is it the winner of Josh Warrington, Kiko Martinez? Assuming Josh wins, because I don't think Leigh versus Kiko is a big enough fight for the City Ground. But if Josh wins, is Josh versus Leigh bigger than Michael Conlon Leigh rematch?
I'll tell you now, it's not bigger. It will mean more to Leigh Wood being a unified champion. That's what I will say, and I get his perspective. But it ain't bigger than a rematch, because once you've got that history, Addy, between you, no fight out there.
You know it, but what about it? Yeah.
believe me, the demand for that rematch is bigger than anything. And I will absolutely guarantee the money will be unbelievable for a rematch, and far better than it will be going into unification with Josh Warrington or Kiko Martinez. That's fact. That's not me saying what I think. I've gave you the two options there. I know what Leigh will want to do. Leigh will want a unification match, I'm not going to lie. But then when it stacks up and he sees the financial gain and the legend and the legacy status going into that at the City Ground fight, I think he'll look. Leigh Wood's decision will be his own. But I definitely know 100% the lucrative financial side is City Ground and Michael Conor rematch. The rematch is that big now.
What needs to happen, and we'll end on this one at the final point, what needs to happen is the WBA needs to sort this nonsense out. Leo Santa Cruz hasn't defended this featherweight strap for 3 years.
Don't even talk about it.
It needs to be upgraded. It needs to be. They should, after that, they should say, you know what, here it is.
Adi, Leigh Wood's the world champion. Forget about Leo Santa Cruz, mate. It doesn't matter. Leo Santa Cruz, he isn't even relevant here. Leo Santa Cruz got knocked cold by Gervonta Davis. Yeah. That was how long ago. You lose your championship when that happens usually. You get knocked out like that, you're no longer a champion. Even if it's not in a title fight, they usually just you're done. We make the regular one the champion. In my eyes, Leigh Wood is the champion. When he beat Zhu Khan, he became a world champion in my eyes.
Agreed. I couldn't agree much more. Honestly, I agree with you, full stop. All right, let's talk about the undercard, Tony.
Just before we go, can I add also, Adam Booth was going through an awful lot in his personal life. 11 days prior to the contest against Leigh Wood, Adam Booth lost his lovely mother, Cherry. And he hid this from Michael Conlon. No one knows this, and I'm releasing this for the first time. What was going on in Adam Booth's mind, I don't know. And, he just went in there. A trainer who's put his fighters first. Yeah. And now there's, once again, going above and beyond the call of duty. Really is. Yeah. The thoughts are with Adam Booth and his family, it really are. But yeah, I just thought I'd let people understand and know what was going on in that poor man's mind, because he was heartbroken seeing Michael ringside. He really was, and we were talking, and I'm trying to help the best way I can to get people away and move people back. The security were doing a brilliant job as well. They need commending. The Boxing Board of Control need commending. Frank Smith, Eddie Hearn, massive, congratulations on doing the speedy thing, what they've done to get Michael on help, because the studies show the damage it happens and gets worse when the wait comes, and there was no wait, there was no delay with seeing to Michael. So I just want to give everyone credit there, and my thoughts are with Adam Booth and his family.
Yeah, no, everyone at Dazn thoughts and condolences to Adam Booth, and it goes to show the type of man that just kept it quiet and sort of got on with his business on the weekend. But look, thoughts and prayers with the family of Adam Booth right now. I want to quickly touch on a couple of the fighters on the undercard. Look, disappointing for Sandy Ryan against Erica Farias. It was always a tough fight, a step up. Erica Farias, a two-time world champion, two-weight world champion as well. It just seemed to go wrong, didn't it? She came in at 144 pounds, and I thought she looked a bit heavy in the ring, a bit flat-footed. Clifton Mitchell will get her at her best again, but these are the things that happen when you take step-ups, especially in female boxing, where there seems to be a level where you're a prospect. There's no really middle ground fights. You go from a prospect sort of world level immediately. Yeah. Maybe it was just a bit too early for Sandy.
I think Clifton's looked at the records. She's still lost to Michaela Mayer. Before the Michaela Mayer fight, she's only lost to world championship fights. Yeah. And on Saturday, I'm not going to lie, I think she fell in love with her own power and ego. She gets in the ring. She doesn't approach the fight correctly, in my opinion. She's not basing it off a jab. Her work rate's non-existent, and she's looking for the one shot all the time. And that's not good enough, especially against somebody who's been a world champion, has been in big fights, knows how to grind through them 10 rounds. She should have went in there and basically nailed down the first 4 to 5 rounds. Make it your fight to lose. And she didn't. She started slow, and it's disappointing because I really like Sandy Ryan. I think she's a quality operator. Yeah. She picks her shots really well. She can be spiteful, she can be nasty. But if anything, Adi, the writing was on the wall at the weigh-in. She comes in, I think it was 2.5 pounds overweight. Yeah. And it's disrespectful, if anything. It shows that it doesn't just show bad on you, it shows bad on your trainer. It shows a lack of preparation. Lessons will be learned from Saturday night. They really will. Clifton's a really good coach. He's known in the game. He's been around it a long time. I could see him frustrated ringside. I could see him screaming from the corner. He's not happy with how she performed. She's got to put it right.
Indeed. Steffi Bull will be a lot happier as to how Terry Harper performed. It wasn't her best, but she's moving up in weight. She had the demons, obviously, of that loss against Alicia Baumgardner. And it was just a case of just making sure she got the W, got the rounds in, looked good at the new weight class. And I guess it's onwards and upwards for Terry Harper. And I'm happy to see her back, happy to see her smiling, because the last few months must have been very, very difficult.
I think they definitely will. You question yourself when you get stopped the way she did against Alicia Baumgardner. You really do. You question yourself and you wonder, am I good enough? Can I take a shot? She answered them questions. I thought she started off scared, and that's acceptable and that's understandable with what she's been through. But she did. She now understands I can take anything again. She'll believe in her own mind. The fighter's mindset, we're the best liars in the world. We lie to ourselves daily. And she will be back telling herself once again, I'm okay. There was an issue. There was something wrong with me. It's just good to see her back, Addy.
Yeah. A quick word on Gary Cully. A lot of people wouldn't have seen him before. Look, we thought this was a big banana skin against Miguel Vasquez. Yeah. Miguel Vasquez almost, you talk about fighters getting old in the ring. He looked old walking to the ring. But you've got to take advantage of those type of fighters. And Gary Cully looked sharp, looked a bit special. I like him, bit of a character as well. And I think he's an interesting sort of addition to the lightweight division. And look, you never know as far he can go, but I like the fact that we've got a bit of a special talent potentially there.
I like him. I think he's a good quality operator. Mate, at 6'2", southpaw lightweight, he's just an headache. I'm not going to lie to you, lad. No one's going to want to fight him. And Vasquez definitely didn't want to fight him, mate, because he got punched all over the place. Vasquez is obviously, we know, a former world champion, very decorated. We've seen him come over here against Lewis Ritson, and people thought he got absolutely robbed blind. But Gary Cully just went in there and done a job. Let's not blow too much smoke here. Because Vasquez is way overcooked, mate. If he was a steak, he'd have been cinder.
A well-done steak.
Mate, it goes well beyond well done, mate. He'd have been charcoal. That's what he would have been. So, it's he's just... Gary Cully's gone in and he's done a job. You can only beat what's in front of you. So, there's more tests out there at lightweight and there's interesting fights in and around that division. So, let's see where he goes from here.
Indeed.
Let's throw some jabs.
How you doing? We're the Fight Disciples. I'm Adam Catterall. Nick Pete alongside me to get stuck into all the hottest topics from the world of boxing over the last 7 days. And yes, we are going to celebrate. Yes, we're going to give it the old big one because we saw a great fight at the Motorpoint Arena at the weekend. We do have happy, smiling faces, I promise you. But one of the topics before that fight, of course, on Saturday evening in Nottingham, was the results into the investigation into Ian John Lewis by the British Boxing Board of Control. Last week, we were talking about how outraged we were about that scorecard, and in fact other scorecards connecting to that fight, but it only seemed that the British Boxing Board of Control wanted to investigate Ian John Lewis's scorecard. The result of that is that they have downgraded status from A star down to A class. What that means, listen, nobody knows, and how long that is for, nobody really knows, but at least they've taken some type of action, Nick. We don't normally get to see this. They normally brush everything under the carpet. There's been some action taken, but as we dig a little deeper into this process, it does feel like a little bit of lip surface, like they've done it to appease a few people because it's quite glaringly obvious there's massive mistakes that have been made and we need to be moving forward in a more positive direction.
Yeah, the British Boxing Board of Control is very similar to all of world boxing. You know, it's a bit of an old man's club, an old boys club. But it can't stay like that. It's got to modernise. It's got to move forward with the times. You know, fight sport is under pressure from mixed martial arts, from UFC. We deliver world title fights week in, week out. The fights that the fans want to see. Very social media friendly sport, and that's kind of capturing a younger demographic. Boxing needs to modernise. Boxing needs new blood as well. It needs new young people involved in the sport. It needs to revolutionise, and you know, none more so than in where the boxing the boxing criteria lies. It's antiquated, it's out of date, it's non-comprehensible across some of the governing bodies, and even here in the British Boxing Board of Control, you know, 3 sentences is just not enough of a criteria on how to score a fight. They need to address that. They need to address it urgently because, listen, Glasgow was shocking. And I know we've just had a fantastic weekend, Adam, but dig a little deeper And there was 2 or 3 scorecards this weekend that were absolutely atrocious also. Thankfully, the right person won, or in case of the fight of the year, we got a conclusive knockout finish. But there was 3 or 4 fights over the weekend which we can't skate over. The British Boxing Board of Control, they got away with one, because if had them fights been the wrong way, we'd have been complaining about horrific scoring once again.
Yeah, you're of course referring to the Mark Leach fight on Friday night where he took on Chris Bourke to become the British champion.
Whitewash.
He won
Whitewash.
by an absolute landslide. You could probably make an argument for 2 rounds for Chris Bourke at the very, very most. Most people even had it as a full shutout, or maybe even just the 1 round. But some of the scorecards that did come back were alarming. Yes, the right man won. Yes, the right man did have his hand raised. But there has to be an investigation into how we are training these judges. And of course, as you've just said, a real momentum switch in how we're recruiting new people. Let's get rid of the old boys club situation. Let's make it accessible to everybody. Those new, fresher faces with new, fresher ideas coming into the British Boxing Board of Control, and hopefully therefore we'll be able to move forward with better education and better array of talent being sat ringside, calling through fights, officiating fights, and we get the right results more often than not going forward. On Saturday night, we didn't need them, thankfully, because we got a conclusive ending, didn't we?
Not in the main event, but don't forget, Sandy Ryan versus Farias was a split decision. Split decision.
Yeah.
Sorry, a split decision. Farias, not being funny, listen, it was a big step for Sandy Ryan. No complaints about Sandy Ryan trying to be great. Listen, it reset her. She takes the L. She learns from it. She's only a couple of fights into her career. No shame whatsoever losing to a former world champion like Farias. But come on. Anybody who watched that fight could see that Farias handed out a little bit of a lesson to her. How one of the judges scored in favour of Sandy Ryan, I will never know. Sorry, I just had to get that one in there. Let's get back to the fight of the year.
Let's get back to the fight of the year, the comeback of the year, the atmosphere of the year. It was absolutely sensational. Yes. At Nottingham. And listen, we're thankful that we didn't have that fight tarnished by us now discussing more scorecards, because we did get a conclusive ending. And I know that we've been on here bashing the British Boxing Board of Control, but one little feather in their cap is that when it comes to medical due diligence, they are absolutely the elite in the world. There is no doubt about that. They set the benchmark. They had medical assistance to Michael Conlon after he fell through the ring within seconds, and they had him in a hospital within minutes. Absolutely fantastic to see. Even more fantastic to see his smiling face on Sunday morning having breakfast with Leigh Wood after they've both delivered a phenomenal fight. Yes, Leigh Wood's going to go on and maybe challenge for a legit world title, hopefully, against Warrington or Kiko Martinez. That makes an awful lot of sense to me. But it's fights like that, ladies and gentlemen, that warrant rematches. Never mind these clauses that you get put into these contracts. I'm not interested in any of that nonsense. I'm interested in my eye test. Those boys dished up a classic fight, and if anybody comes to me and says they're going to do Leigh Wood and Michael Conlon again, woo-hoo, I will be the first in the queue buying a ticket. Let me tell you, because I'm in for that again. What a fight.
Exactly. Listen, trust on boxing to provide you with your rematches. If a rematch needs to happen, we will get it. And yes, I'm like you. I think Leigh Wood should get the opportunity to fight the winner of Warrington Martinez next. But you better believe that Michael Conlon, the rematch of Michael Conlon, is going to happen at some stage in their careers. Doesn't matter that Leigh Wood had his arm raised on Saturday night. Michael Conlon came out of it with just as much credit as Leigh Wood. It was one of those performances, one of those nights, one of those fights where both guys emerge as winners, as champions. Both their stock has gone absolutely through the roof. We knew that the skill lay with Michael Conlon. We knew that Leigh Wood had the will. But during that fight, my goodness, it crossed over in a big way as well. Loved every second of it. I would pay anything to see the start of round 13 as they move forward. It will come one day. Eddie will give it to us. We will get it. No doubt about it. But no reason for an immediate rematch. Let Leigh Wood now go and realise that full potential. Hopefully, as you say, pick up a genuine world title. Because Michael Conlon comes again. He 100% comes again. Goodness gracious. Boxing is back. That's all I kept saying on Saturday night. Boxing is back.
Boxing was indeed back. Well, boxing is back, but it is a shame that we've lost our main event for the weekend. Just to confirm the breaking news I gave you a bit earlier, Virgil Ortiz has had to withdraw from his fight against Michael Mickelson. Bitterly disappointing for the Portsmouth man. Ak and Barak are back tomorrow with more on this developing story. Remember, you can also keep up to date with exactly what's going on our Twitter page at Dazn Boxing. For myself, Andy Oladipo, and from Tony Bellew, make sure you tune in, as always, to the Dazn Boxing Show.